Welcome back, and welcome to the sequel you never wanted or needed. After Ham Night, Man was lost. He had nothing to do, faking his death didn't work, he was found sifting through garbage trucks to find rats to slaughter, and someone found him and leaked this information to the public on Twitter, confirming his fake death wasn't so fake after all. During his grand return tour, Man would take up his mantle once again and begin crime fighting. But well, it just wasn't the same. It's like Man had forgotten why he enjoyed killing. He really just didn't feel like it anymore, and thank God Ham's shadow was just a dream, am I right? This is in no way a reference to the real world situation that brought the series to an end. But on one of his nightly patrols, he accidentally phased through the very fabric of reality. Flustered and scared this might be finally his time to die, Man began trying to escape, gliding under the world he once called home, and realising there was no way back, his cape gave out and Man would begin falling and falling, and as he shut his eyes, remembering all of the kills he'd ever gotten, from the hundreds of electrocuted thugs in Asylum, the poor unfortunate thug he dragged off the bridge in the museum and watched slowly fall to his death in Ham City, the tens of men whose lives were brought to a horrifying conclusion with the use of the death gloves in Oranges, and the night he finally decided he'd had enough and tried to add himself to his own kill count, all of it flashed before his eyes. And then two thugs rushed Man, and like he was on autopilot he took them out, and while regaining his breath he realised he wasn't in his world anymore. He was in the... After the events of Manham, Man's greatest rogues have decided to team up to add him to their kill count. Our first team up sees Man face off against Cassius Clayface, our green friend, Face, the Puzzler, and the Iceman. Bin tried to come rescue Man, but obviously he's still kind of useless, so also got stuck here with Man, meaning the dynamic dimwits have to team up once again. Kills are counted when an enemy explodes, and that's it. The duo jump down to try and stop CC, who's began robbing a bank. Man is shocked to see him, but this is the Lego world and nothing is as it seems. Dead villains are back, Man's suit isn't black, and brain cells does Bin lack. Along with their newfound world and reborn lust for murder, the pair have had to try their best to replenish the dwindling Wayne tech funds after the city took Wayne and his sidekicks to court, following his unmasking, so along the way, Man and Bin will be actively trying to hunt out every stud they can, and when all this is said and done, maybe they can afford to buy the rights to Brendan Skelnar's likeness so we can finally move forward with a movie. Our first 4 kills of this brave new world are claimed instantly, with the pair getting their hands on the necks of the first victims of the series, with the 4th kill being literally paraded around because yeah, Man is back. After smashing the street up out of anger and ending 2 rats, something Man did pretty regularly in his days back in the real world, 2 more green-clad criminals come gliding from the sky, but Bin and Man stick it to them, sending them back to the holy mock in the sky. After a little more public property damage, a favourite pastime of the pair, Man slices this fool in half, punches this man in half, and dons a new suit, something unlike he's ever seen before. Let me introduce you to the TB Pie suit. Man dons this suit, relishing its destructive capabilities, and jumps down into the fray of enemies, claiming 5 off the bat. He punches this guy so hard he twirls 3 times in midair before Man ends the encounter in his typical brutal fashion, taking out the final 3 twerps. Man, playing with his new toy, accidentally ends Bin's life, which under normal circumstances would be a great loss. Bin has proved himself as a worthy sidekick after all, but well, he just reappears. It seems in this new and strange land, the laws of death don't affect our main characters. It's a good thing these rules don't apply to the weaker criminals, otherwise this would have been a very short video. Man finds a little truck and decides to hone his driving skills outside of the bat tank. He hits some nasty donuts while Bin begins trying to permanently end himself in the puddle of corrosive acid. Some more public property damage is followed by 3 more of the green goons being dispatched of before, in an unprecedented show of dominance, Man plants a bomb from the TB Pie suit while picking an entire man up with one arm before planting him into the ground, blowing the bomb up and punching another man so hard he dies. Pure aura. He continues to ruin the street for those oh-so-sweet studs and is ambushed by a load of new victims. 4 are instantly added to the count by way of a free-flow combo before 4 more greener guys are sent to sit alongside the retired DC sets. Man then takes a page out of Aura Man's book, letting a tanker blow up for the fit pick, before he meets back up with Bin, who got distracted by those godforsaken IG reels, and the pair add 8 more victims to the count in a show of unmatched block-building masculinity. Man sees his longtime girlfriend on a wanted poster, which worries him, so he continues down the street, bin in tow, as a single thug tries to end him. However, he fails. Man engages another thug who gets turned into a dart as Bin fights off two foes at once. He fails, which means his mentor has to come in and promptly show the boy Blunder how it's done. Bin gets arguably the hardest kill of the episode when he pulls multiple back handsprings on this guy before kicking him in half, reminding Man why he now respects him as not only a son, but a person. Man places another bomb as three more attackers try to add them to their own count, but the bomb hits Bin. Once is a coincidence, and twice could be put down to bad luck. If this happens a third time, I will be launching an investigation. Anyway, the attackers are dealt with before three more exit the subway and find out why Man and Bin were so feared in the real world. In a show of immense charity, Man gifts Bin his new suit, the wreck suit, no relation to the gun. Bin uses his newfound powers to, oh, it's a trap. 8 more green goons begin their assault, but our dynamic dimwits thwart them, with Man trying to use a quick-fire batarang on the final thug, missing and then being called the worst slur a man of his talents can be called. Oh god, I'm gonna puke. A superhero. Gross. As I was saying though, Bin uses his newfound powers to control tiny cars and flip switches. Somehow that feels very fitting. 4 goons try their luck, 4 goons bite the curb that is Man's hammers of justice. Man, tired of Bin's occasional incompetence, steals a Ferrari and tries to escape Bin, but, well, he's stuck. He tries it all, but sadly he can't escape his only friend in this twisted universe. After telling Bin it was just a prank and he didn't really mean to call him those things as he drove off, especially not useless fucking and block-headed mouth breather, they finally found Cassius Clayface, who's in the middle of stealing these comically shiny silver bars belonging to Bruce Wayne, who, because Clay, much like the Venom symbiote, shares one hive mind, has been outed by Clayface himself. Yep, that's right, all of the villains in LEGO Batman know exactly who Man is. They know he's Bruce and his son is Robert. Not yet. That's not my bit to shamelessly steal and try to get the most insane LEGO Batman collab of all time. Anyway, Man and Bin engage Clayface in some classic Queensberry rules. And thankfully, one of the green goons is caught in the crossfire and is brought to an end before 2 more are sliced directly in half. Man clears out the bank of 2 more goons as Bin makes some good progress in putting CC to the sword for good, as Man Superman punches this thug and hits an attitude adjustment on another. Even Man enjoys WWE and thinks Cena's 6-month heel run was a little underwhelming, but it was fun and his match with Cody will go down as one of his top 10 matches ever. Anyway, another green goblin is sent flying and Man uses the remote control Manarang to gas Cassius Clayface into submission, but as he's being secured, Face arrives and Puzzler comes out of hiding, and as Man gives chase to Sudoku Man, he's tripped by Clayface as Bin merely stands and watches, a valid response to him being blown to bits twice, and Puzzler and Face get away but not before Man's able to launch a tracker at them, keeping tabs on them for now. The pair follow a lead of cold calls to the world's most off-putting ice cream factory where they believe the Iceman is hiding. The pair are ambushed by 4 criminals who are brought to a swift end, and Man builds up some kind of rudimentary ice cream launcher and takes down a further 4 criminals as Bin gets access to a new kind of fun, the freaky foot suit. It allows Bin to use them grippers to climb grippable surfaces, but yet another batch of 4 thugs try to exact revenge for their fallen comrades, and of course they fail, and well, you guessed it, another 4 come and go. After breaking down the gate into the fortress of Freezitude, 3 of the Iceman's Blue Brigaders make their stand, but well, add them to the count. Along with these 4 unfortunates, and these 4, God, this is relentless, and this guy. Man obtains this fancy gliding suit, which he named the ACWOT, or AQUAT suit, which stands for a complete waste of time. See, back in Man's real world, he didn't need a suit to glide, his cape did that for him. But here he needs a clunky jetpack, and he's really not a big fan of it. 4 of the Iceman's goons try to rip the suit off him, and although he let them if he wasn't so concerned about his own life, he still ends their lives. 3 more are added to the count as the dynamic duo make their bodies cold before Bin cuts this man in half. Continuing through the Ice Age, Man and Bin take out 4 more thugs who get a cold curtain call, all before 3 more of Freeze's abominable snowman buddies are claimed. There are also 8 more kills here between that last section and getting to meet Mr. Freeze. Now originally, I just left this out of the voiceover. I don't know why, I don't know how, there wasn't any funny jokes written in, this just wasn't there. So I'm adding this in post, so yeah, add 8 kills to the count. Once inside the Iceman's lair, the pair reduce rescued by Puzzle Boy, a tricky little creature he is, before they finally meet their ice cream maker. Our first batch of 4 enemies actually get the better of our favourite pairings, Dexter and Rita, obviously with the help of Arnie, but nevertheless this is a sad moment for us. Alas, they're dealt with, and so are 2 more, and 2 more. After filling the ice cream makers, man punches this poor guy halfway to Timbuktu and super kicks a hole straight through his friend, as 3 more thugs try their luck and are met with instant death, as well as 3 more later down the tracks. Another 2 collections of cold criminals try to stop the pair from thawing the Iceman out and are thwarted as Rotting pushes this car down the track, which adds another 6 enemies to the count. As a comically large ice cube falls onto the head of the Iceman, 5 more of his thugs try to kill Man and Rotting, but they're instantly stopped along with their boss, who ends up being beaten by the pair in a hotly contested fight. Well, I guess he kind of beats himself as he ping-pongs around the room and probably concusses himself to Kingdom Come before being knocked out. Puzzler shows up and tickles the feet of Freeze and, wait, Puzzler? Man and Rotting give chase, but unfortunately he once again gets saved by Face and his armoured car. He leaves the pair a present, probably full of kittens and their favourite movies. And for those of you who know Man's favourite movies, well, yeah. Anyway, we catch up to Puzzler and Face as they celebrate escaping with their giant freeze gun they intend to use for probably illegal reasons. They begin running from the cops but are stopped by the ever-reliable Jimmy G, who places some stop signs to ensure their cooperation as the dynamic dimwits drive into action and begin hunting the pair down. These vehicle levels will be counted a little differently. See, in Ham Night, I counted vehicles as probably having like 3 enemies in them. The first car I took out in Night did, so we'll carry on tradition as to keep things fair. 2 cars are taken down before one of the puzzler's armoured vehicles is toppled and dragged over to the proper authorities, because even in times like these, man still has to follow some of the laws. In this section, man blows up 1 car before heading off to take out one of Puzzler's armoured vehicles. He does just that and takes out another 4 cars, which adds 12 more names to our list. Man hunts down another truck and takes it out, and in doing so ploughs through 2 more cars. After picking up one of the trucks, he adds another 12 names to the list and delivers the first truck back to the police. Another 12 kills in total means another truck is taken over to the cleanup crew waiting before he heads back around the corner to grab the final truck, and on the way man demolishes 6 more cars, which means a massive 18 added to the kill count, finishing this section off nicely. Now we finally get to fight Face's armoured truck, an exciting prospect, but we'll have to be careful. The Face of the real world was ended at the hands of Rotting, and so he'll be out for revenge. Man jumps into action, shielding his boy Blunder from Face's wrath as he takes 2 cars down. To beat Face, Man has to employ the help of Jimmy G's expert bomb squad, who drop Fat Man nukes on Big Bad Harv's big bad car. On his way to the blast zone, he ends another goon car and eventually gets Harv into the place to be nuked, and as he is, it lands and a heart is knocked off. 3 more cars are added to the count and ended before 2 cars are added and Face is dragged back over to the blast zone, where the GCPD managed to hit both Harv and another car, which will get added to the count. On the final trip back to the bomb squad, 5 more cars and 15 more names are added to the count in a show of extreme dominance for the dynamic duo. After they've defeated Face, himself and Puzzler begin tweaking over their loss, and Puzzler runs, being cornered by the dynamic dimwits, before our green friend lends a helping hand and bails him out as he gives the duo another green box. Back at the newly minted man cave under Bruce Manor, Bin is entranced by the leaf from our green friend. Man asks for it and manages to pin it to the Gotham Botanical Gardens, because obviously that's how that works. Man and Bin pull up, and after some failed aura farming by Bin, they enter. They begin by grabbing a garden and take out 3 of the purest green goons plants can grow. They then destroy that garden for the coins it will give them. They're nothing if not entrepreneurial. Spoiler alert, this will yield a ton of studs for us. Like, a ton. But it'll also wield a ton of thugs, including this poor sap, this one, and these 2. Man builds this destructive force, a killdozer of epic proportions. He begins flattening the ground around him and profiting from it. Insert joke about billionaires here. 6 more enemies rush our friend, and 6 more enemies fall flat off the mark, being planted in the ground along with the rest of their friends. Oh, and guess what? Bin gets a killdozer too. Sadly, due to not having any friends, we can't race them, but it's fun to have to. It's during one of these destructive flurries with the killdozer that Man unlocks what I've dubbed the JBL suit. No, not after John Bradshaw Layfield, after the Speaker brand. Here, let me show you a quick demonstration. In the next phase, 5 more enemies get ground into dust before another joins them, and this man just, well, I'm not sure where he went. A singular goon tries his hand at trimming the weeds of justice, and well, fails. 3 more plant-based goons fall to the weed killers, and Bin gets his Hoover suit. A suit which, well, hoovers things up. After making their way through the gardens, 3 more plant babies succumb to Bin's hand of Hoover, and the pair continue their way through the gardens as 3 more add themselves to the count. Then Man builds a new suit changer and grabs his most fire suit yet. Yeah, I don't have a name, it's the heat suit. Man uses the heat suit to navigate areas he'd otherwise lose his fingerprints in, and eventually the pair make it to a lab. Now, if you think I'm going to sit and count this infinite slew of enemies that come after you in this lab, then you're absolutely right. No, I'm not doing that. Well, I kind of did. I lost count at around 30, and there were at least like 10 more, so I'll add a whopping 40 to the count, but I genuinely think there were like 50 here, but I don't want to overinflate our numbers. Our next fight is when we finally get our hands on our green friend. She spawned a trio of giant piranha plants in, and with Bin's weed killer failing, we have to bomb them. Early on in the fight, 2 thugs are uprooted, with the following 2 subsequently offed. After bombing one of the plants, another few goons spawn in and are promptly taken care of, before Man finally gets to fight Green one-on-one. Man bombs another plant while Bin just kind of stands there and watches on like the moron he'll always be deep down. 3 more thugs are also added to the count. Bin builds the final bomb and manages to detonate it, sending the final killer plant packing, and with that our green friend is put to an end. Remember guys, girlfriend, boyfriend, friend, they all end in end. But you know what doesn't? Man and Bin. They are forever. After Green is defeated, Bin, the idiot he is, begins falling for Green. Hard. Thankfully though, we avoid a repeat of that time in 1997, and Man manages to take Green down and shake some sense back into Bin. Puzzler is here too, hiding in a plant pot, but once again he gets away in the face car, leaving another present for the duo. Back at the cave, Man and Bin use their combined brain power to build this small polybag set using the parts given to them by Puzzle Boy, which it turns out is actually a direct replica of this comically gothic bank, which is presumably where Face and Puzzler will be robbing. The pair arrive at the scene and are instantly ambushed, adding 6 names to the count before they've even had time to settle. Man then finds another target, hopping in this bank van and running him down until he's essentially human paste, before putting him out of his misery in his usual fashion. After driving the van through the front gates, the 2 are ambushed yet again, using the manarangs to add 4 more kills to the count, slicing them all in half. Man obtains the Aquat suit and flies over to the mainland, letting Bin cross safely. Once across the bridge, more green goons try to end them, and there's a lot of them here, and they all die one way or another. By my count, there are 11, so we'll add them now. Another thug pulls up on a bike, and rather than ending him, Bin steals his bike and does donuts around Man on it because he can. However, again, another kill of the series from Bin, as he jumps off the bike straight into a flying kick and kills the enemy. He's definitely better in Lego form than he is in the real world. He also grabs the freaky foot suit. Using their suits, the boys get into the bank and come scarred face to normal face with Face. For whatever reason though, Face is immune to the toxic green sludge, and so we need a creative way to get to him. We obtain Bin's Hoover suit and build a small but functional fan boat which allows us safe passage across the sludge. A bridge separates the duo from Face and 5 more victims, but they quickly assemble it and make short work of their next victims. After entering the main vault, they begin ganging up on Face and beat the ever-loving crap out of him, while collecting plenty of studs along the way of course. 2 more thugs are added to the count as well. After Face has been taken down, Puzzler is our next priority, and while beating him up, 4 new enemies enter the count. Oh wait, no, 12. So 16 in total, all get added in rapid time as Man and Bin have to fight their way out of this crowded room. Puzzler begins mind-controlling Face to beat us up again, and he doesn't do a very good job. He's persistent, but rather useless. We do have that in common. After finally managing to lure Puzzler down, the dynamic duo beat him down and end up burying the wannabe thieves in a pile of gold bars, which definitely causes some long-term injuries. After the triumph, Bin engages in some tomfoolery only rivalled by a 17th century court jester. We see the not-so-sinister six arrested back in Hamasloom, and they don't seem pleased to be there, but, well, we did it. We put them away and saved the Wayne fortune, managing to get ourselves a healthy $426,910 back in the process. Despite man's wary nature of this new world, he seems to have settled himself in nicely, and through that comfort, himself and his sometimes useless boy Blunder got 350 kills, proving that even though they're strangers in a strange land, they're killers until the end. Thank you all so much for watching. This is part 1 of 3. We'll be doing a chapter an episode, and no, there won't be any villain version of this. This is just Man and Bin's adventure, and I want to make this a nice little 3-part series to kind of continue the serial killer lore in some way, while also meaning I can branch out a little bit. Playing Lego Batman 1 is always so fun, as it's what got me into the universe as a child, and it's really nostalgic, so I'm really looking forward to working on this series. If you enjoyed, consider subscribing and leaving a like. They're the best ways to help the channel. Thank you for watching, I hope you enjoyed, and goodbye.